Training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a pilot's license. This will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484.
Thank you very much. That'd be a cool gift. Wouldn't it give somebody a pilot's license, what do you call it, lessons, flying lessons, pilot lessons, whatever you call it?
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be a cool gift. Not for me. I don't want this.
You're going to have all the listeners giving you.
But somebody else. This is an expensive gift, but it's a nice gift. You know, and get them started anyway. Galen Unold is on the phone, and good morning, Galen.
Hey, good morning, Larry, Robin. How are you?
Pretty good. And where are you right now?
I'm in the tree zone, Larry. Comfortably in the tree zone.
The tree zone. So are you in the right now, as we speak, the one of the maintenance guys, I guess his name is Louis,
I think.
Is it Louis? Louis, yeah, there he is. Okay,
yeah.
He's hanging up the wreaths on the Paddock Mall.
The Christmas wreaths are beautiful.
Isn't that cool? No comment.
No, I'm not ready yet.
No, you're not ready yet.
No. Well, and I do want to, before we get too far along, I do want to thank you for promoting the relief needs for the Philippines. Having lived in that country and been to that area, I've actually went diving right off that island. I've seen the devastation, and those people are going to need our help for a while.
Yeah, right.
So please,
right.
Organize something. They're going to need everything.
That's right.
It's they need our help, and this is a time for giving thanks, and we have a lot to be thankful for, and part of that responsibility means that we have to share it with those in need. Right now, they're in desperate need, so please share what you can. Yeah,
and we've done this so many times, having done radio for forever, that I already know. I've not really worked in any other town in radio. This has always been the town I worked in, and this town hopefully is a representative of the other towns, but I don't know. But anyway, I know this town steps up to the plate when it comes to a need, whether it's right here in our area or across the world.
Yeah, and I mean, they're saying this is 3 times the storm. The force of the storm was 3 times worse than Katrina.
Wow.
And granted, Katrina's not what ripped the New Orleans apart. It was the dams. I get that, but that was the power of this storm. It's the most powerful tropical storm ever on record. So these people need us.
Yeah, no question about it.
And when this tropical storm was just being created and everything, I remember Larry had in his news like a few days before it hit, that people were being warned and everything, and that people from the Red Cross and all were trying to position to evacuate as many as they could before it hit.
Well, and the thing is this is an island country. I mean, so there's not a lot of high-level ground, 1. And 2, they don't have the infrastructure to move that many people.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it's not like they have a highway system, between islands. They just don't, and they didn't really have any place to go.
Right. No, it's a very.
So it's not like they, the one of the things that we really take for granted is our infrastructure. Whether it's our roads, our highways, our bridges, but it's also our shelter system, so that when there is a storm, and our disaster services and our EMS, they're in place and they're trained for this. They just don't have that kind of luxuries in the Philippines.
Well, I mean, you would know better than any of us, but it looks like that, and even if they did, it still looks like they need help, and I know that this community will step up to the plate. So our job is to make sure we weed out the ones that don't pass our test, and allow the ones that do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the ones that do pass the test to help them out by getting the word out.
And I helped my ship, the USS Sterett, helped support and clean up after Mount Punatumbo erupted. I mean, I shoveled ash for a week.
Wow.
In the rain. So, and I talked to a buddy whose wife is from the Philippines, and he talked to his wife's in-laws basically, who live in Olongapo, and they said it's worse than Mount Punatumbo. They said it's not even close.
Wow.
And, thousands of people died after Mount Pinatubo erupted, and they said it's worse.
Oh yeah, the video I watched this morning of
it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific.
It was a helicopter or airplane. Something was flying over the area, and one or two concrete structures was all I saw. Everything else was splinters. Yeah.
So, I really want to encourage everybody to give and to pray for these people. This country's been ravaged with politics in the past, and it's been invaded like 63 times. It's been owned by the Chinese, the Japanese, the Spanish,
unbelievable,
the Americans, and now actually their own country, and they need our help. Desperately need our help.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why you heard what you heard on my news, even though, like I said at the beginning of that story, it's not a Florida or an Ocala story, but I think it is in a way, because we're going to be reaching out across the world to help them out. So it becomes an Ocala story because of that.
Yeah, now's one of those times I wish we still had the base there. So it would have been a lot easier to facilitate.
Well, there were some warships, or I guess that's what you call them, sent by both the United States and Britain to go help out. I'm not
correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that's.
I know they were on station. It's still a port. We still frequent that port. I mean, Subic Bay was there, and Angeles City, where the Air Force was.
It's interesting
we were there for after World War II to 1992. My ship left.
Interesting that they call it Yolanda, and the rest of the world is calling it what was the other word? Haya something.
Haya. Oh. And the reason that is, and it's because the Philippines has been ruled by so many different cultures and so many different governments. That's why they have 7 different dialects in this island chain.
Oh,
wow.
So sometimes it's like Tagalog. It's probably closer to Spanish than it is anything else, because they were ruled by the Spaniards up until the Spanish-American War. For I think it was like 150 years.
Yeah, yeah.
But as you go north, their dialect becomes more like Japanese. And you can get somebody from the south, and they can't necessarily even communicate with somebody from the north.
That happens here,
unless
too.
Unless they speak Tagalog. Well, little different.
I'm teasing.
It's spelled the same. It's spelled the same. I've heard people like, no, not the same. What they speak in Cebu is completely different than what they speak up in, the main island of Luzon.
Let me go to the phone real quickly. I do have a kind of a silly segment today, but a fun one, so we'll get to that. But first, let's continue with the serious chat. Good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? All right. Somebody's got their phone on, but they're not answering.
Yeah.
Are you there? All right. Somebody called me and forgot to hang up. All right. So you're making a really good point, and I appreciate the fact that you emphasized it. And my goodness, coming from you, having been there, it makes kind of puts a different light on it, I think, than we already knew.
Well, thank you. And they have great beer. San Miguel is the best beer in the world.
Really? Well, that'll be a good.
Oh, and by the way, you remember that nasty soda we were talking about called Beverly?
Yeah.
It's available in Epcot.
Why would you even buy it? I don't know.
Robin wants to buy it
because they have so many foreign visitors that people probably would like to taste it.
Well, it has my mom's name, so that would be a nice gift.
But it sounds doesn't sound
there's
good.
a lot of things that have your name on it that you don't necessarily want.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to opt to buy the Blonde Bomber beer you were talking about, made by the veterans, because my mom's blonde, and she was always called the Blonde Bomber, so I'll get her that for Christmas.
That sounds good.
The Blonde Bomber beer.
That went on sale yesterday, right?
Oh, good. Yeah, because I'm going to order it.
All right. So, Galen, do you have this circumstance when you go to somebody's house on Thanksgiving, they have kids, and they say, Uncle Galen, you want to play a board game?
Play a board game?
A board game, yeah. Do you have that where the kids?
Oh, a board game.
Yeah.
Board game. Yeah, I mean, that's happened, sure.
All right. It happens to everybody. And what are your thoughts? You say, oh, man, not really.
I do it.
Well, thankfully, the kids that are young enough to even want to do that all are... They're all boys, and so they just want to go outside and play football.
Ah, okay, okay. So you don't.
At some point, my brothers and I, it becomes competitive.
Oh, so the adults get the board game.
pulled hamstring.
Yeah.
Twisted knees, ankles.
Oh,
yeah.
the outdoor games.
So
Okay.
It usually ends up happening with football, but yeah.
By the way, this is WOCA Ocala, broadcasting
The source.
the source. Thank you. Broadcasting from now the partially decorated Paddock Mall.
Well, Santa Claus is here, so he has to have Reese
Well,
over
Santa
there.
Claus is
No
here?
retail stores
Yeah, he
are
came
upset because
Saturday.
They lose a week of shopping because Thanksgiving's late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Santa Claus is here.
I thought Santa Claus came on Thanksgiving.
No, he was, well, in Ocala, he comes on
Really?
this past Saturday, so
Did you know that, Galen?
Yeah,
he's here.
comes earlier every year.
Yeah.
Feels
All right.
like it,
Poor
doesn't it?
Mrs. Claus.
So I have here the top 10 board
Pressure
games.
starts to increase.
That's right.
I have the top 10 board games
Literally.
we secretly hate. Mm-hmm. The top 10 games we secretly hate.
Okay.
Oh,
let's
this
see.
is going to be fun.
Number 10, and this is a survey,
As
by
an
the way.
adult or as a child,
These-
there are games that I love as a child that I would never play now. So
This
it's
is
gonna be fun.
you as an adult showing up at somebody's house, and one of the kids wants you to play the game with them.
Man, all right, this is going to be easy.
Okay. Number 10,
I'm sure the
Candyland.
Apples game's going to be on there. Yeah, Candyland. Oh.
Candyland.
You know, it's the first board game that you play with your child,
Yeah.
right? And the first 3 or 4 or 5 times you play,
Uh-huh.
you're fine with it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here. You know?
This is the reason you hate it is because it's basically just a game of pure chance.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to lose to the child. But
No.
the chance could actually be in your favor. So you roll the dice and you know you're going to win, and you have to pretend and knock it over or something. Oh, I didn't see it. What did it say?
Yeah, right. I didn't get that color. I have this other color.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah.
Is the color thing? No
and
dice
the
on that
next one
one?
will be Shoots and Ladders.
Yeah, Shoots and Ladders is
No,
nice.
number 9 is Shoots and Ladders. I think is on the list, but number 9 is Stratego.
That's hard.
Thank you.
Now, Stratego isn't necessarily a game of chance.
No, it's
That's a perfect example of a game that I loved when I was like 10, 11, and 12.
Uh-huh.
And I played it with my son. I'm like, oh, come on, hurry up. So I don't know if it's because I would play that game for hours.
It says
There's a
that
lot of strategy that goes in and where you're going to put your bombs and, you know, and where you're going to put your flag. Do you surround it or do you isolate it? Yeah.
Right.
the good of the game is that it's a game of strategy, memorization, and unit management.
Yes.
The bad is that it shows the horrors of war with some plastic pawns that are given a numeric value.
Well, and it's crazy is your general can lose to a 9. And that would be so brutal.
And the ugly is that it gives your child an interest in explosives. So there you go.
Oh.
True, because of the cannons. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, now this is actually a list of a survey that was done. So these are the top 10, and we're down to number 8 of the most secretly hated board games. Shoots and Ladders. You said it before. Here it is.
I'm surprised both of those aren't much higher up.
I like that
because
game.
it's a game that after the age of about 5, even the kids don't want to play it anymore. You know, because it's so much on chance.
It says here the bad part of this game is that breaking the spirit of a child is a big price to pay for 40 minutes of ups and downs, mostly downs.
Yeah, you let that child win.
Well, you know, when they hit the slide,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, oh, you counted wrong. It's like, oh, geez. You know, because you don't want them to slide because you just want to end it.
Do you know, I remember when, as a kid, challenging my dad to an arm wrestle.
Uh-huh.
And I remember winning.
Oh.
And then later on in life, I thought, wait a minute, there's no way I won. I wonder how many kids we...
Yeah, you know, and that's an interesting dynamic. And I don't know, my children are young. It's like, at what age do I make them realize you're not going to win everything?
Yes. And that's a philosophical...
You know, and that's a fine line because you don't. You're right. You don't want to crush your child's spirit.
Right.
You also want to realize that, guess what? Life is hard, and you're going to lose.
Yes. It is an important lesson to learn. Yes.
And then you just fight to make sure that they don't beat you ever again. Once you beat them, you cannot allow them to beat you again. So if it's too dark, you know, if it starts to rain, you could just darkness. You know. So.
All right. Number 7 of the board games we hate secretly. Operation.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
And you're more you have better dexterity when you're younger. You know, when you're in your 40s and you've had a cocktail, it's hard. Dad, just stick to this game.
Yeah. The bad part of this, the good part.
It's true. Like go after the wishbone, Larry. After having a drink. It ain't easy.
And they're so tiny. Then sometimes somebody will knock the game accidentally, and then you're looking for all these pieces.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. And I will tell you one thing. My kids love to play board games at like first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll wake up. It's like 6:45 on a Sunday. Let's play Operation.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
You're not even awake, and you're trying to. No.
You get zapped.
It says the distance.
And what is the money for? I didn't realize there was ever money in Operation.
Oh, there is?
Until my kids started. Right. You know, we were just sitting there and do it over and over again. Yeah. My
Did you
son
know
actually
that?
read the entire
No,
book.
I really didn't know that. No.
Money.
Yeah, there's money associated.
But it's also
For each
life and death.
operation you perform, you get cash.
But don't you lose if you lose? Sam the patient dies.
Yeah, he'll
I
die.
don't know about that.
I think that's what it says
never-
here. It says here
I
if
made my son figure all that out. He just told me if I won or lost.
if you buzz, poor Sam dies. It says here.
There you go. That is a part of life, Larry.
Money's for malpractice, I guess.
Sam
is
the
probably
patient,
what
by
it
the
is.
way, lying naked in your living room as you're doing this,
Well,
with
he's
every
got underwear on.
every body cavity exposed. It says here.
Oh, no, he's got underwear on.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
he's got cavities we don't have.
This is a good list.
He's got cavities we don't have. All right, number
I wonder where
6.
sorry's going to show up in life. I think those have to be on there.
Well, the
All right.
next one you're going to disagree with because I think you've expressed that you like this game, Battleship.
I do like Battleship. I think it's again, I think it's a great strategic game. What stinks about it is all the parts that are involved and how they end up everywhere. You know, especially if you have like thick carpet,
Oh, yeah.
you'll be vacuuming up the red and white things forever.
So you have to
But
give.
now they have it all electronic, which is easier. But
Oh, really? Okay, so you don't give coordinates anymore, like
Oh.
B6.
yeah, you do.
Oh, you do?
It still functions exactly the same. It's just all on a computer.
Okay, so you can't tell if your opponent is lying. B6. Nope, sorry, you didn't hit anything.
Not anymore.
Okay.
It goes.
It does. That's funny. All right, the next one is checkers. Number 5, the most secretly hated.
Really?
Yes, checkers. Number 5.
Oh, I love checkers.
All right, so let's play this scenario out. You're at the Cracker Barrel,
Yes.
and you're outside in the rocking chair.
Right.
Is there anything better than playing checkers while you're waiting for the table?
No, that's okay because the table eventually is going to be open and the game is over.
That's right.
I think the problem with checkers with a little kid is that it doesn't end.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you just keep playing over and over?
You
Or
got
they
kings.
you have to chase them around the board.
And I'm double kings now. I got double kings.
Yeah. I know. It's like, gee.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Hiya, Hugh.
Say, speaking of checker, how about Chinese checkers? I hated
Oh,
that game. I could never figure it out,
me
and I
too.
always got beaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Well,
those
that's a
goofy
solo
marbles, and
game,
somebody
too.
bumps the
That's not
tables,
a-
and there's marbles all over the place. And
Yeah.
But that was another monotonous game. But the little older kids, though, they like playing that game for some reason. I don't know what it was, and I could never win. I just hated it. I knew I had to play when I go. I'm going to have to play Chinese checkers today. So I probably had a couple of shots of brandy before I went over just to make it feel better. You know?
That's right. Throw back a couple of
Okay,
years.
Chinese
you'll be
checkers.
fine.
That's funny. Thank you, Hugh. That's funny. I'm with him. I don't know how to play that game either.
Yeah.
All right, the next one on the list. You ready for this one? Number 4 on the game we secretly hate, the board games. Life is on the list.
It has to be. It's you start off all energetic, and then you're like, oh, come on, just let me retire.
Yeah, but when you play with a little kid, like a little boy, for example, oh, you're getting married. Oh, I don't want to get married.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Absolutely true.
You got to have a pink peg in your car. Sorry.
Hey, well, now you got a couple
Did you
of
do
kids
that?
in your car.
I don't remember.
I don't want to go to college. You're going to college.
Right.
I remember the first time we played, and it was just my wife and my oldest son, and Caleb was probably 5 or 6. And Caleb was like, well, I'm not going to go to college because he had like this non-college job that was going to pay pretty well. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to college. I remember that. She was like
funny.
yelling at him, like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's funny.
This isn't real life. It's a game. And then she realized it like 5 minutes later. She goes, wow, I guess it's important that he goes to college to me. I'm like, yeah. It's pretty funny. All right.
All right, number 3 of the top 10 most secretly hated board games is Sorry.
Yeah, agreed. It's silly.
Sorry.
It is a silly, silly game. And I don't like it. My kids love it. Thankfully, they're old enough that I don't have to play anymore.
Yeah, but it's fun sending somebody else home. That's
Takes so long.
It takes so long. Yeah, it's labeled as the game of sweet revenge. I guess I didn't know that. Is that what it says on the cover?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
okay.
The game of sweet
Sorry.
revenge.
Don't you remember that commercial?
Yeah, no.
Or that the father would tell the son would tell the father, sorry.
Sorry.
Send them home.
The bad part about the game is it will forever question the sincerity of any apology from any of your family members.
Absolutely right. There you go. It's not called apology. It's called sorry.
Sorry. You don't sound like you're really sorry. You sound like you're playing the game. No, I really am sorry.
Yeah, that's golden.
Yeah. All right, we got 2 more. The top 2 of the most secretly hated games of the board games is Clue.
I like that one.
Clue.
The hard part about Clue is, well, and this is a good thing, too. If you just decide you're out, you can make that random guess as to who did it and everything, and then the game is over and you lose. So, I'm going to go, but it was Mr. Peabody in the library with a wrench.
But now remember, this is the whole discussion here hinges on adults playing with children.
Yeah.
And the kids just want to guess the whole time.
Yeah. They like the cards.
But
And it's also, and one of the aggravating things is it's a game that you have to really actually pay attention to, like, everybody's turn,
Yeah.
because you get clues that way.
right.
So it's a game, but so socially it's not necessarily a game you play, right? It's like there's a lot of activity going on around you. You can't necessarily play it.
It says here,
It
are
was
we?
a pretty good movie.
Are we? It says,
It was a
Let's be
funny
honest, It was
movie.
a movie that became a cult good movie.
and that had several endings, right? If I remember.
Yeah, it
right?
did. It had alternate
Yeah.
endings.
Did you see that movie, Larry?
No, I did not. I just remember
Oh.
reading about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, wow, I'm pretty impressed.
Was it a Steve Martin movie?
No.
No. Okay.
Who was in that? The guy from
From 9 to
I don't
5.
know anybody's name.
Yeah, the fellow that played the boss from 9 to 5 that they, like kidnapped and tied him up because they didn't like him. What's his name? Martin somebody?
Oh, that's where I got the
Yeah,
Martin from. I thought Steve.
No, that wasn't the guy from 9 to 5.
Oh, okay.
No, different guy.
Okay.
Different guy.
I thought it was
Not
him.
that I know who anybody's name is. Their faces are different.
Ellen Burstyn. No, not Ellen Burstyn. The other lady, the lady that played the lady that played the old lady in the house in Jeepers Creepers, and then
Oh,
she
boy.
was in Private Benjamin.
Oh,
She played
boy.
they were all famous people in there, and it was so
Yeah, they were.
funny.
Huh.
My mom and I had such a good time that day.
Well, it says here that it
got a story.
desensitizes children to cold-blooded murder.
I don't know. I survived.
Well, no, it teaches them how to do a crime. I mean, if you've got a wrench,
Right.
a piece of rope,
Right.
Yeah.
and a letter opener, you can do some damage.
You're pretty much set for a life of murder.
That's right. That was a
Can you
funny,
imagine if
funny
somebody
movie.
said, so why did you kill him? Well, I was excellent at Clue, and I figured I could get away with it.
Now, the number 1 most secretly hated board game when adults go to visit a home where there are children who want you to play board games is Monopoly.
Yeah, because it's a 2-hour, 3-hour game.
Or 10 hour.
Yeah, it takes
Or
a
10
long
hour.
time.
I mean, you have to have halftime in Monopoly.
Because the bad part of this is
Surprise! There's a apples game.
I don't remember.
Apples and cherries.
Oh
a
yeah,
horrible
yeah.
game.
It's
That's not on the
the
list.
cherries. You got these trees with these tiny little round
Yeah.
cherries, and you
That's a
got to put
horrible
them on
game.
there. Yeah, that's kind of boring.
So did you hate being, or
Well-
did you like being the banker on Monopoly?
I was always the banker. I learned early on that if my father was the banker, he always won. And it never. First of all, there's no balance. There's no checks and balances on the banker.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Your banker always has enough money to
You
pay
could
you
slip
off.
yourself a 50. That's right.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh, that wouldn't
Once
have
I
been
learned that, I'm
nice.
like, my dad was never the banker. So if we played as a family, my mom was always the banker because you couldn't question her.
Yeah.
So, and she didn't cheat.
And who took care
No.
of the real estate in your family?
That was usually the youngest because it was the one thing you couldn't cheat at.
Wasn't that the hardest
pretty
part of this
easy.
game, though? I don't have any money. Why don't you mortgage your house? Okay. How do you do that? You turn the card over and you follow those rules.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it pays it back with interest.
It's crazy.
And
Real
I
life.
always made him pay it back with interest. I love Monopoly.
I did, too.
Yeah.
I'll be
I got
honest.
through many a day. With Monopoly in the summer.
Larry got my
It's
son.
400 degrees outside. We're playing Monopoly.
Larry-
Or Risk or Stratego.
Larry got my son a really cool Monopoly game. It was a limited edition and had little drawers in there and had little golden tokens and it had a felt table.
Wow.
You know, it had sides. He still has it to this day.
And what was the token they got rid
Wow.
of? And what was the one they replaced it with? It was...
Oh,
They replaced the thimble, I think, with
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the thimble is gone. Did you, I mean, when I was growing up, I didn't have air conditioning in our house until I was like 13.
we didn't either.
You had to go somewhere, and we would lay, it would be really dark, and we would try to get as low to the ground as possible.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We go in my basement. It was always the coolest because we never had air conditioning.
You grew up in Wisconsin. I grew
That's
up in
right.
Florida.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
All right, so the new token in Monopoly is the cat.
Oh, okay.
There's a cat now. I guess
I don't like cats.
so you won't
It
put
makes
the...
sense. I have a dog. They might as well have a cat.
That's right. There you go. Well, anyway, there you go. That's the top 10 most secretly hated board games that you might end up playing with some child next couple weeks on Thanksgiving.
You know what a great game to play for that, though? Like if you were to do a top 10 that you should play, would be like tic-tac-toe.
Now, why is that?
Because it takes like 30 seconds. And you can easily let the other child win. Or you could just cat game them to death. So,
What was the game that my mom always had laying around that the kids would always pull out? Was that Sorry?
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they would love playing that
Ay,
game.
ay, ay. I make up my own rules.
you have to, Larry, because you don't want to send somebody home. but it's so boring. Oh, I don't like that game. It becomes redundant. I like games where the game evolves and becomes something different, like Monopoly or Stratego or Risk. But it just becomes so monotonous.
Are all of these games now available as electronic games, like as video games?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, I know Monopoly is.
Wow.
And I know Risk is, and I know Stratego is. So,
Wow. So
like,
is
you
it-
can play Stratego against the computer on your computer right now.
oh, really?
And they have an app for it and everything. So, yeah, it's fun.
All right, Robin, we need a segue from board games we love to hate to donating blood.
Well, when you're in Life South Community Blood Centers, maybe one of those board games might be fun to play because you're laying there for about 10 or 15 minutes just trying to get the blood out of your arm. Or you could have a great conversation with the staff to see what kind of board games they're going to buy for the children for Christmas. So go to Life South, donate 1 unit of blood. You can potentially save 3 lives and become an ambassador, especially during the holiday season. Need to keep donating blood every day.
There you go.
Amen. I'm surprised Pete didn't weigh in on that. He's like a board game expert.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he invented some board games from what
Yeah,
he said. Yeah,
yeah.
which is cool. He's got them for sale, in the market.
Yeah, he brought one in, right, for us to
Yeah.
look at. Gail, where's the Bloodmobile today?
Bloodmobile today, Larry, is at the Walmart down in the Villages.
Okay.
All right, go down there and donate blood. If you can't get there, go next door to the Cascades on Silver Springs Boulevard. That's where Life South is here in Ocala. And where is it in Denellen, Robin?
Right next door to Sweet Bay.
Yeah.
Sweet Bay.
And remember,
Yep.
if you're putting together a campaign to help out the folks in the Philippines and you pass our little quick test, and then we'll help you spread the word about it. Galen, thank you for all you do, and thank you for educating us on the Philippines, and have a great day.
All right, you guys are the best. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. We'll take a little break and be right back.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
If you're looking for work right now, you might want to brush up on your on-camera interview skills, because today, 42% of first-round interviews take place over the internet via webcam. Women are better at finding parking spaces in the first place because men tend to be less patient and drive more quickly. Food made with wheat is bad for our health. And it turns out wheat stimulates the brain in a way that causes us to become addicted to food.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Pick up your copy of Lady Lake Magazine, featuring local businesses and issues and written by local volunteers. Lady Lake Magazine has become a must-read in Marion, Lake, and Sumter counties, audited by Circulation Verification Council and serving the area for 23 years. Plus, Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. All we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 352-804-1223 and pick up your copy of Lady Lake Magazine today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
All right, Robin, let's take a look at the price of gasoline and see who's got the best deal around. Right now, the average for a gallon of regular unleaded in Ocala is $3.17. That is down 1 penny since yesterday, so we're doing a little bit better. The best price in the area, though, is, let's see, 1 hour ago, Denellen called. Circle K in Denellen has gasoline for $3.11. $3.11 in Denellen. Let's see if I can find one in Ocala. 20 minutes ago, the Pilot Station on 326 near I-75 has reported gasoline for $3.14 a gallon for regular unleaded. We'll be right back.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source. For illnesses and minor injuries, visit Family Care Specialists Urgent Care offices with 2 convenient locations. Our North Ocala office is at 1111 Northeast 25th Avenue, and our Bellevue office is at 4850 Southeast 110th Street, right next to Walgreens. The medical team at Urgent Care can also handle well child and well adult exams, school and work physicals, immunizations, laboratory services, EKGs, and x-rays. Most insurances are accepted. Walk-ins are welcome. Family Care Specialist Urgent Care for illnesses and minor injuries.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Did you know that dementia is more than just a memory problem? This Thursday at 11 a.m., Dr. John W. Grace, board-certified psychiatrist, will be on the air to answer questions on dementia and speak about the new Memory Enhancement Center and the Dash for Dementia fundraising event December 7th. Go to johngracemd.com for more information, and don't forget to tune in Thursday at 11 a.m. for Dr. John W. Grace right here on The Source, WOCA. All right, Rob, let's take a look at other news. It's 25 minutes after 8 o'clock. I got about 5 minutes to read some of these stories to you. These are the stories that just don't fit anywhere else, so we squeeze them in right here. The first one comes out of Singapore. A Singapore man named Batman Superman was sentenced to jail for less than heroic deeds, including theft and drug use.
Oh,
Authorities say Superman, who's 23 years old, was sentenced to 2 years and 9 months in jail after pleading guilty to offenses including 6 counts of theft, 2 counts of house trespassing, 1 count of breaking into a house, and 1 count of drug consumption.
Isn't breaking into a house and trespassing 2 things?
Anyway, I think it's his name that got him into the news.
That's right, Batman Superman.
That's his name, Batman Superman, P-A-R.
Oh, Superman.
I know, it's weird. It's weird. Next story is out of Trumpington, England. A 75-year-old woman was convicted of assault for emptying a bag of dog droppings on a bicyclist she accused of riding too close to her. Prosecutors said Susan Corral, who's 75 years old, from Trumpington, England, swung the bag of her dog's feces at the bicyclist September 12th because she was angry at how often bicyclists pass too closely to her while she's walking.
She's on the sidewalk there in the bike lane. I mean, you gotta be close.
She said, I didn't expect the bag to split and spill its contents all over Ramage, which is the man's name. She was ordered to pay Ramage $40 to cover his dry cleaning costs, as well as a $160 fine to the court. The court gets the money.
Yeah.
The guy who gets the dog crap only gets
$40.
$40 to clean stuff.
I know, it's government.
All right, the next story is out of New York. A New York City judge dropped a prostitution case against a young woman, saying she was clearly not wearing the outfit of a prostitute.
Oh.
Felicia McGinnis, 26 years old, was arrested in the early hours of January 9th. Wow. After police saw her talking to passersby on a sidewalk in Manhattan's Midtown area. January 9th. And charged her with loitering for the purpose of prostitution. Police noted that McGinnis was wearing a black pea coat, skinny jeans, and platform shoes.
Okay.
Then, in October 15th, in a ruling, Judge Felicia Menon wrote that McGinnis's outfit did not warrant a prostitution charge and tossed the case out.
Oh, gee.
Any current issue of a fashion magazine would display plenty of women similarly dressed, Menon wrote. However, the choice of such an outfit hardly demonstrates the wearer's proclivity to engage in prostitution. Menon also slammed the police officer for noting that McGinnis's pants were revealing simply because he outlined her legs.
Oh.
So that's it? They arrested her because of her clothing?
I guess so.
The police officer had no other information?
Then she was just chatting? I mean, gee. Oh, man. Must have been a prank.
Next story out of Sublimity, Oregon. Sublimity. An 88-year-old Oregon man was presented with the medals he earned during World War II thanks to the efforts of his family. Mm-hmm. U.S. Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, led the ceremony Sunday at the Sublimity home of Dick Royce and presented the men with medals including the World War II Victory Medal, the American Campaign Medal, and an Honorable Service lapel pin. Well, that was nice. That was very nice.
Okay.
It's a nice story.
Very nice story.
They're not all silly, see?
Nah.
Let's see. Out of New Haven, Connecticut, a Connecticut rabbi who purchased a desk for less than $200 on Craigslist said he found $98,000 in cash hidden inside the desk.
Oh, my gosh.
Rabbi Noah Muroff of New Haven said he and his wife brought the desk home and discovered it would not fit through the door of their office without being disassembled. Behind the drawers, there was a plastic bag similar to a shopping bag, Muroff said. In the bag, he could already see that it looked like a $100 bill. He opened it up and it was full of cash.
Wow.
They counted it. There was $98,000 in the bag.
Did he give it back?
Muroff said he and his wife called the desk's former owner, who said she had hidden her inheritance in the desk a long time ago and forgotten the hiding place.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow. The rabbi said he and his wife were happy to return the cash to the grateful woman.
Wow.
Cool story. All right, we've got to move forward to Mike Huckabee, and then we'll do News Bites. Deal?
Deal.
This is the Huckabee Report for Tuesday. I'm Mike Huckabee from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. Good news, businesses are hiring again, but you won't believe why. That's next. Holiday shoppers, be warned, it's busy season for identity thieves, hoping to steal your identity and take over your bank accounts. Each time you buy a gift or gas or shop online, you might just be exposing yourself and your bank accounts to identity thieves. No one, not even law enforcement, can stop all identity theft, but the smartest thing you can do is arm yourself with LifeLock Ultimate Protection. Take it from Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Every gift we buy at the mall, in a store, or online increases our risk of identity theft. And don't think it's just about credit cards. Identity theft is much, much bigger. Don't fight identity theft alone over the holidays. Join me and protect yourself.
I protect my family and identity and my bank accounts with LifeLock Ultimate, and you should too. As a special holiday gift, LifeLock is offering my listeners 15% off your LifeLock Ultimate membership. Call or visit LifeLock.com and use promo code Huckabee15 for your 15% off holiday gift. Call 800-240-LOCK. 800-240-LOCK.
Network does not cover all transactions and scope may vary. Offer ends 12/31/13.
Last month, the economy added 204,000 jobs. That's more than predicted, but not enough to keep up with the population. So unemployment rose a notch to 7.3%. Now, it would have been even higher if the number of Americans who work or trying to find work hadn't dropped by another 0.4%. That's the biggest monthly drop since 2009. But with so many people giving up on ever finding work, there is a boom in hiring in one field. The Hill newspaper reports that thanks to the blizzard of new government regulations over the past few years, the number of compliance officers in the U.S. leaped 18% between 2009 and 2012. So if you're tired of shuffling from job interview to job interview, just learn how to shuffle government paperwork. Then every business will need you. Red Bear on Fox News has a viewer known only as Bill from Kentucky. Over the weekend, he read an email from Bill that's getting huge response and going viral. What Bill did was note that from the passage of the Affordable Care Act to the October 1 Obamacare website launch was 3 years, 6 months, and 10 days. From the attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7, 1941, to Germany's surrender was 3 years, 5 months, and 1 day. Bill noted that in the 1940s, the government mobilized millions of people, built tens of thousands of tanks, planes, torpedoes, jeeps, and more, plus millions of guns, bombs, and bullets, and used them to turn the tide in North Africa, launch D-Day, fight the Battle of the Bulge, and capture Berlin. And given a month and 9 days longer, this administration can't even build a working website. My advice to Brett would be to turn Bill the viewer from Kentucky into Bill the staff writer. Rescue workers in the Philippines are in shock at the sheer level of devastation caused by the super typhoon Haiyan. Entire villages were washed away, and the death toll could top 10,000 in one province alone. Hundreds more are dead on surrounding islands. If so, Haiyan will go down as the worst natural disaster in the history of the Philippines. The victims, desperate for any good news, and on Monday, a young woman gave birth to a baby girl in a destroyed airport compound that had been turned into a makeshift medical center. Her bed, a piece of dirty plywood resting on broken glass and debris. But her baby was healthy and beautiful. Her mother called her a miracle baby and named her after her own mother, who was swept away in the floods. Finally, the people of the Philippines are begging the world for aid, and the fastest and easiest way is to donate to the people who are already there and always first on the scene of any disaster. Just go to redcross.org. And this is the Huckabee Report.
You take your 6-year-old to the playground. You watch her go down the slide, then run over to the swings. Another mother strikes up a conversation. You take your eye off your daughter for just a few seconds. You look back at the swings. And she's gone. Your heart drops into your stomach. You jump up, your eyes searching. You cry out her name. Lily? Lily? From the top of the slide, you hear a voice.
Mommy, watch me!
Every parent knows that feeling. Imagine if she were actually abducted. Go to wirelessamber-alerts.org. Sign up for free Amber Alerts on your cell phone. When an Amber Alert is issued in the areas you've chosen, you'll receive a free text message. If you spot the vehicle, the suspect, or the child described in the alert, call 911. Sign up today at wirelessamber-alerts.org. A child is calling for help. This message brought to you by the Wireless Foundation, the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and
The Huckabee Report is brought to you by Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, Ocala.
Howdy folks, RL here. I want to tell you about the best $5 bargain anywhere. For a limited time, Dairy Queen at Silver Springs is offering a sandwich or chicken strips, fries, a medium drink, and a sundae for only $5 till 4 p.m. And new on the menu is the Orange Julius line of real fruit smoothies, including protein smoothies. Our fresh made garden salads go great with a fruit smoothie. Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, @yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Howdy folks, RL here. I want to tell you about the best $5 bargain anywhere. For a limited time, Dairy Queen at Silver Springs is offering a sandwich or chicken strips, fries, a medium drink, and a sundae for only $5 till 4 p.m. And new on the menu is the Orange Julius line of real fruit smoothies, including protein smoothies. Our fresh made garden salads go great with a fruit smoothie. Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 22 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday morning. Hope you're doing well. We've got some news to deliver to you. What we do in this segment, which we call News Bites, is we take the news from around the world, or around the nation, around the state and the city in some cases, and we deliver that news to you in abbreviated form. We shorten it. We cut to the chase. We give you an opportunity to catch up on the news. Usually we squeeze in 20 or so stories in this segment, and we do this each weekday morning, by the way, and it gives you an opportunity to catch up on the news without putting yourself in the front of the TV all day long. So let's start with Typhoon Haiyan. We've been talking about the devastation that this typhoon caused in the Philippines, and we've been talking about how to help. The Red Cross, of course, is one of those places. I just heard Mike Huckabee mention it. Just a real quick information about how else we can help. Just to read the story, which is what we do here. This is from the ABC News Network. Nearly 10,000 people are feared dead. At least 660,000 people have been displaced following last week's Typhoon Haiyan. The UN says more than 9.8 million people nationwide were affected by the powerful storm, and at least 23,000 houses have been damaged or destroyed. Aid crews are struggling to reach survivors, and the following relief organizations are providing immediate assistance. funds. And I'll interject a little subnote here that some of you are also putting together assistance plans and relief plans at your churches and other organizations. If you're doing that, let us know about it. And as long as you pass our little test so that we know you're legit, then we'll help you spread the word. But here's one: the Red Cross, the Philippine Red Cross, is what you would want to go to. Save the Children is also on board with this. UNICEF says they are on board helping the people in the Philippines. CARE, just the group called CARE. The World Food Program is helping out. I guess you can look all these up. Oxfam America, the Medicines. Oh, okay. So, Doctors Without Borders. I'm sorry. Okay, it was in French, and here's the English translation. Doctors Without Borders apparently is an organization that's, I guess, based in France. International. Oh, so I'm sorry. It's in Quebec, in Canada. International Medical Corps is also helping out. The International Rescue Committee is helping out. World Vision is helping out. And again, some of you are. And if you have an organization, your church, your synagogue, your mosque, your civic group, and you're doing something like this to help out, and you want us to help you get the word out, just let us know. It's as simple as that. We'll do it for you.
This is a horrendous story from the Telegraph. 80 people have been executed by firing squad in North Korea for watching foreign films. In one case, the local authorities rounded up 10,000 people, including children, and forced them to watch. Those put to death were found guilty by the state of minor misdemeanors, including watching videos of South Korean television programs or possessing a Bible. Sources told the paper that witnesses saw 8 people tied to stakes in the Shinpung Stadium in Kagwan Province before having sacks placed over their heads and being executed by soldiers firing machine guns.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The next story is from the Associated Press. A North Carolina man is facing federal charges that he sought to join an al-Qaeda-linked militant group fighting the regime of Syrian President Bashar Assad. Basit Javed Sheikh, who is 29 years old, from Cary, North Carolina, is charged in a federal criminal indictment with attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization. He was arrested on November 2nd before boarding the first of a series of flights that would take him to Lebanon. Sheikh told an FBI informant that he was going to join the group called the Nusra Front in Syria, an FBI agent said in a sworn affidavit obtained by the Associated Press.
After failing to derail Obamacare during the partial government shutdown, congressional Republicans have found new life in attacking President Obama's signature health care law. With Congress returning today from the long holiday weekend, the battle shifts to a House Republican-backed bill that would allow Americans to keep their health plans. The House Energy and Commerce Committee bill capitalizes on Obama's apology last week for earlier mistakenly assuring the public that they could stay on their health insurance if they liked it, reported by Fox News.
Next story is from Georgia, and I'm getting it from the Associated Press. Authorities in Georgia say a 2-year-old girl was severely burned when gasoline sparked a fire on a slide where she and her sister were playing. Walton County Sheriff Joe Chapman says deputies believe one of the girls poured gasoline on the outdoor slide to make it more slippery. Authorities say they believe a spark from static electricity ignited the gas Saturday morning at their father's Loganville area home. Chapman said the girl was in a medically induced coma and in critical condition at Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports that authorities are treating the case as an accident and don't anticipate filing any charges. The girl's 4-year-old sister was not seriously injured. Wow.
Gosh.
Putting gasoline on a slide to make it more slippery.
Oh, my God. Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross spoke out yesterday for the first time since a hazing scandal involving rookie Jonathan Martin and veteran Richie Incognito ballooned into what the franchise owner called a nightmare. Ross said he has been taking a proactive approach and planned to meet with Martin tomorrow to get his side of the story after the player left the team earlier this month due to emotional distress. Ross said he would also meet with Richie Incognito, who was suspended indefinitely on November the 4th after Martin turned in voicemails and text messages showing Incognito used the N-word to describe Martin and threatened his family. This is according to ESPN. The controversy came to light after Fox Sports reported that Martin and other rookies had been forced to pay thousands thousands of dollars for dinner tabs and vacations for more veteran members of the team.
This from CBS News. Is there another presidential bid in the cards for Arizona Senator John McCain? Not a chance, the 2008 Republican nominee says, but it's not for a lack of interest by the public. Here's a quote: "Particularly since this shutdown, I've had a spate of emails and letters and phone calls saying, 'Run for president again.'" McCain made that quote to the Arizona Public and went on to say, quote again, "As you know, I'm seriously thinking about running for re-election to the Senate. But I think in the words of the late Morris K. Udall, as far as my presidential ambitions are concerned, the people have spoken." McCain is referencing a quote from former Democratic political strategist Dick Tuck that appears in Too Funny to Be President, a book by the late Representative Morris Udall.
He comforts the untouchables, engages atheists, and wades into crowds his predecessors merely waved to. And in doing so, Pope Francis is electrifying the Catholic Church in Italy and perhaps around the world. The populist pope's insistence on bringing the papacy to the streets has sent flocks teeming back to basilicas and cathedrals in what some are calling the Francis effect. Inspired by the Argentine pontiff's humble ways and inspiring acts like kissing the head of a disfigured man, Catholics are returning to the church in droves and clamoring for the chance to glimpse Francis. This is reported by Fox News.
And the next story is from the Los Angeles Times. Cash, Delana, Register, sat in a park Sunday afternoon taking it all in. He felt the sun on his face and the breeze coming in from the ocean. He heard the sound of birds and the children playing, and he said, "This is really beautiful." He was smiling, but there were tears in his eyes. Register spent more than 3 decades in prison for the 1979 murder of an elderly man in West Los Angeles. He always maintained his innocence, and Friday he was released from jail after a judge overturned the conviction. Attorneys from Loyola Law School's Project for the Innocent argued that a key witness in the case had lied and that police and prosecutors had suppressed evidence that would have helped Register's defense. Register, who has spent his first days of freedom getting reacquainted with family and a city he last saw when Jimmy Carter was president, said he is overcome with relief. "In the mornings, I just lay there and I look at the ceiling and I just thank God that I'm home," he said. Register was 19 years old when he was convicted of murder. He is 53 years old now. During his long incarceration, he missed out on a lot of life, such as the birth of his daughter shortly after he was locked up, and years later, the arrival of 2 grandchildren.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said yesterday that Washington was not engaged in a race to complete talks with Iran on its nuclear program and vowed to defend Washington's regional allies against any threats. Speaking at a news conference with United Arab Emirates, former Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Abu Dhabi, Kerry said the U.S. was not in a race to complete talks with Iran on its nuclear program. This is a quote from Kerry. "This is not a race to complete just any agreement. Through diplomacy, we have an absolute responsibility to pursue an agreement." Marathon talks between 6 major world powers, the United States, Russia, China, Britain, Germany, and France, and Iran on Saturday ended without agreement, and the sides arranged to meet again on November the 20th. This is a story from the Jerusalem Post.
President Obama paid special tribute to an American treasure yesterday, the oldest known surviving veteran of World War II, Richard Overton, at a mid-morning Veterans Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. Obama singled out the 107-year-old Overton, who was in attendance, as a remarkable example of national service and sacrifice. He was there at Pearl Harbor when the battleships were still smoldering. He was there in Okinawa. He was there at Iwo Jima, where he said, "I only got out of there by the grace of God." That was a quote from President Obama in a speech he gave to a crowd of 4,000 veterans and guests gathered at the Memorial Amphitheater. Overton still rakes his own lawn, and every Sunday he hops into his 1971 Ford truck and drives one of the nice ladies in his neighborhood to church. So this is the life of one American veteran, living proof and strong in the land he helped keep free. And that again, I don't know where that's from. I think that was from Reuters.
Disgraced former cyclist Lance Armstrong has told the BBC that he will testify with 100% transparency and honesty at any future inquiry into doping. But the American, age 42, wants assurances he will be treated fairly after admitting in January that he took performance-enhancing drugs during all 7 of his Tour de France wins. He argues some of those involved in cycling's culture of doping have been given a total free pass, while others have received the death penalty. Accused by the United States Anti-Doping Agency of conducting the most sophisticated, professionalized, and successful doping program sport has ever seen, Armstrong was stripped of his Tour de France titles in August of 2012.
And you're listening to News Bites. This is the segment of the morning show where Robin and I read to you the news from around the world, and we abbreviate it. We cut to the chase, get to the point, and save you some time. In doing so, we put the news back in News Talk. And if you have a business and you'd like to sponsor this or any segment on WOCA's broadcast day, it's pretty simple to do, and it's an investment in your business. It'll bring business through your door from our listenership. Come into this radio station and speak to a sales representative. They'll tell you how it's done and explain how easy it is. And if you want to come in, we're right at the Paddock Mall, just outside of the food court, affectionately known as the WOCA Commissary. And, of course, you can also call the office line, which is 732-8000. Self-focusing glasses allow users to instantly adjust prescription. How about this for technology? It's called Pixel Optics. Perfect vision no longer requires numerous trips to the eye doctor and multiple pairs of glasses to see near and far. Thanks to the new trend in self-adjusting eyewear, you can instantly focus eyesight with a light touch or toss of the head. Super focused lenses are already widely available in the United States. According to Stephen Curtin, the eyeglass company's chief operating officer, people often have changes to both near and far vision as they get older. When the eye ages, the crystalline lens located behind the iris thickens and stiffens, and you have more trouble seeing up close, he said. At the same time, you can become more nearsighted as your eyeball shape changes. That was from ABC News.
As the early Thanksgiving shopping bandwagon becomes more crowded, with companies such as Target announcing they will open at 8 p.m., 1 hour earlier than last year, more workers are wondering whether the extended shopping hours are worth it for businesses that are not big box retailers. Medieval Times is a family entertainment company that sells dinner and tournament style shows. The company began offering Thanksgiving Day show tickets last year, but this year the company is planning to add a Christmas show at its New Jersey facility. A family member of a Medieval Times worker started a petition asking the company to cancel its Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day shows so that employees can spend time with their families. More than 1,700 people have signed the petition so far. Good idea.
The first U.S. postage stamps to feature images from Harry Potter movies go on advance sale today at USPS.com/stamps. The U.S. Postal Service will produce 5 million booklets of 20 first-class forever Harry Potter stamps, according to Susan McGowan, Executive Director of Stamp Services for the Postal Service. Anyone who collects anything about Harry Potter will want this in their collection, she says. We anticipate a big demand for the stamps. The limited edition commemorative stamps have 20 unique images from the 8 movies about the British boy wizard and his friends, foes, and fantastic creatures. Among the images are Voldemort, Dumbledore, and the Weasley brothers.
Oh, that's cool.
I got that from USA Today, by the way.
Even with the flawed rollout of healthcare reform and uproar over spying, Barack Obama is enjoying one of the best stock markets for a re-elected president. Signs are building that it might not last. This year's 24% jump in the Standard & Poor's 500 index is the third biggest annual rally after a president was returned to office since the 1930s, trailing Bill Clinton and Ronald Reagan. This is according to data compiled by Bloomberg. The index has climbed 108% since Obama became president, adding more than $10 trillion in equity market value. Record Federal Reserve stimulus, interest rates around 0%, and a doubling of corporate profits since they fell into a 5-year low in 2008 helped sustain stock increases under Obama. The rally that began just after he took office now exceeds the average length of bull markets by almost a year, and valuations are up 18% in 2013. Add to that prospects for the Fed to curtail stimulus, threatening higher borrowing costs, and the outlook for further gains under Obama is grimmer, according to Bloomberg.
And this story is from the Las Vegas Sun. This time it splashed down in the Atlantic Ocean. But what about next time? The European Space Agency says one of its research satellites re-entered the Earth's atmosphere early yesterday on an orbit that passed over Siberia, the western Pacific Ocean, and eastern Indian Ocean, as well as Antarctica. The 1,100 kilogram or 2,425 pound satellite disintegrated in the atmosphere, but about 25% of it, about 600 pounds of space junk, slammed into the Atlantic between Antarctica and South America. A few hundred kilometers or miles from the Falkland Islands, according to the statement. It caused no known damage. Wow.
Nevada's elected officials in Washington, D.C. have made some unusual alliances of late when it comes to national security and civil liberties. Democrats and Republicans are not dividing themselves on this issue in the typical party line manner. Representative Jim Sensenbrenner, a Republican from Wisconsin, is sponsoring legislation to rein in the powers of the National Security Agency, whose vast surveillance programs and bulk data collection of Americans' phone records have been revealed through the intelligence leaks of former agency contractor Edward Snowden. Supporters say it would increase transparency and protect the privacy rights of Americans. Opponents say the legislation goes too far, that it rolls back programs that have saved lives and halted a few potential acts of terrorism, according to the Las Vegas Sun.
And this story from the Wall Street Journal, the Apple company has announced the iPad mini with Retina display is available starting today. The new iPad mini brings all the pixels from the 9.7-inch iPad to its 7.9-inch screen, delivering razor-sharp text and detail in an amazingly thin and light design. It features the powerful and power-efficient Apple-designed A7 chip with 64-bit desktop class architecture, ultra-fast wireless with faster built-in Wi-Fi and expanded LTE cellular connectivity, iOS 7 featuring hundreds of great new features and access to all 475,000 apps designed specifically for iPad.
And this is a story from the Washington Times. Former Alaska Governor and 2008 GOP Vice Presidential nominee Sarah Palin said over the weekend that it'll be like slavery when the U.S. national debt comes due. This is her quote. Our free stuff today is being paid for by taking money from our children and borrowing from China. When that money comes due, and this is not racist, it will be like slavery when that note is due. We are going to be beholden to the foreign master. Mrs. Palin also told the crowd of about 750 that conservatism, in part, is about moving the poor and the underemployed out of poverty and out from the shackles of dependency on government.
And the next story is from the UPI News Network. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter has called for a moratorium on the death penalty, saying its uneven use is a form of cruel and unusual punishment. It's time for the Supreme Court to look at the totality of the death penalty once again, Carter said in an exclusive interview with the British newspaper The Guardian, which was published yesterday. He went on to say, quote, "My preference would be for the court to rule that it is cruel and unusual punishment, which would make it prohibitive under the U.S. Constitution," unquote. The court instituted a ban on the punishment between 1972 and 1976, citing its inconsistent use among the states. Carter said that inconsistency still exists today among the 32 states that still have the death penalty.
In the first likely structural reform of the National Security Agency since The Guardian began publishing Edward Snowden's revelations, the Obama administration is giving strong consideration to appointing a civilian to run the surveillance apparatus and splitting it from the military command that has been its institutional twin since 2010. But skeptics say those plans appear more cosmetic than substantive, leaving alone the central questions of bulk surveillance and potentially leaving the military with diminished capacity to safeguard its data from foreign attacks. General Keith Alexander is scheduled to retire from the agency in the spring of 2014. The White House is reportedly compiling a list of civilians to replace the embattled director, giving a new and potentially reassuring face to a surveillance agency now infamous for bulk spying.
And that's all the time we have for News Bites. We need to move forward. And remember, each weekday morning at this time from about 7:37 or so until 8:37 until 9, we do this so that you can catch up on the news. We can put the news back in News Talk. And remember, if you'd like to sponsor this or any show on WOCA, come into the studios at the Paddock Mall, speak to one of our sales representatives. They'll explain how it's done and make sure you get some business through your door by advertising on WOCA, The Source. Robin, how many stories did we get in there today?
23.
23. Wow.
Yay.
23 seems to be the common number for us, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll push forward. We'll be right back. Carol and Baldwin will be up next answering your questions about your gardens. We'll be right back. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Larry.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. A winter weather system from the Arctic is bringing snow, ice, and misery to nearly 2/3 of the nation. Parts of the Northeast and Midwest will see the coldest temperatures of the season so far. Texas is seeing temps in the 20s. Lawyers for the Boston Marathon bombing suspect go to court today to seek an easing of prison restrictions on him, saying it's hampering their ability to defend him. They want a judge to grant him access to mail, the media, the internet, and the phone. Alec Baldwin is due to take the stand in a New York City courtroom to testify against a woman he says is stalking him. She claims they had a relationship. Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross says he's appalled by the bullying allegations against suspended player Richie Incognito. He's meeting with former team member Jonathan Martin tomorrow and promising to create a locker room culture suitable for the 21st century. The cost of delivery increases exponentially with each baby. A new study finds the average cost of having one child is $21,000. For twins, it's $105,000, and for triplets, over $400,000. This is ABC News.
Tell us, what happened out there?
I just had to keep driving forward. I knew the game plan, and I was rewarded because of it.
What was the key play?
Using my BP driver rewards card when I filled up to save on gas on the way to the game.
Do you use regular?
BP driver rewards. Become a member today and receive an instant 10-cent per gallon reward that you can use on your first fill up. Sign up now at bpdriverrewards.com. Single use only. Reward is good for up to 20 gallons. Terms and conditions apply. See bpdriverrewards.com for details and participating locations.
Get it started. I own a pop stand, actually two. Sure, there are days I say, let's blow this pop stand, but not today. I just discovered the new services center at Office Max. Their team is printing our new signs, posters, and banners, and we saved a bundle. Our stores look amazing, and business is popping. Let's get it started.
This week, save $10 on any $35 you spend on print services at the new Office Max Services Center. Valid in-store only. See store for details.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. Sunshine mixed with clouds today. An afternoon shower in spots near the coast. High 78 to 82. Mostly cloudy tonight, a passing shower near the coast. Low 49 to 66. Windy and cooler tomorrow with partial sunshine. High 62 to 71. And clouds and sun Thursday with a shower possible. High 71 to 75. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
News Talk 1370 WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live? That's right. No tape shows here. We know that the news doesn't sleep. And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara. And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment. Right here on WOCA The Source.
How good does it get?
Golf has long been considered to be sport's most prestigious game, and WOCA has your connection to everything in the golf world. Every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m., tune in for Let's Talk Golf with your host, PGA